Cruise down a tree-lined street in Toorak on a Tuesday night, or take a slow lap through Mosman when the jacarandas are out and every driveway's got that exposed aggregate finish. You'll clock the same picture on repeat. The porch light glowing warm and gold behind the curtains. A BMW X5 back nose out into the driveway, ready for the school run. An Audi parked next to it. A trampoline half hidden behind the side gate. A new alfresco that definitely wasn't there last summer. And your brain does the thing it's been trained to do since you were about 8 years old. It assumes. These people have cracked it. This is the finish line. This is what winning looks like. But here's what the footpath never shows you. In 2026, a hell of a lot of the great Australian dream is being held up by a car loan, a novated lease, and a rolling 4-year finance cycle. That warm light and that shiny German metal aren't proof someone's loaded. More often, they're proof of a direct debit that fires like clockwork on the 15th of every month. Welcome to the Suburban Mirage, where the middle class has never looked more comfortable and has rarely been standing closer to the edge. Let's start with the car, because that's where the illusion always begins. 1. The car that isn't really yours. Right now, roughly 1 in 3 Australians driving a car didn't actually buy it outright. They financed it, either through a straight-up car loan from a bank or dealership, or through a novated lease, where the repayment gets carved out of their pay before tax even touches it. Somewhere along the way, a $700 or $800 a month repayment stopped feeling like a luxury and started feeling like a standard cost of being a grown-up. Like rates, like the electricity bill, just a thing you pay. But look closer at what that repayment is actually buying you. Under most novated leases, you're not buying a car. You're renting its depreciation for 3 or 4 years, then handing it back or paying out a lump sum to keep it and starting the whole cycle again. You never really own the asset outright until you choose to stop playing the game. What you're actually buying is a subscription to a status. The feeling of rolling up to the school gate or the client meeting in something that says, doing all right. And that subscription isn't cheap. For a household built around one solid income, that repayment can eat close to 15% of your take-home pay. Gone before you've even put a tank of fuel in a badge you don't fully own. 2, the success tax. Here's where it gets crueler. Because the same person paying for that status is getting squeezed from the other side too. Say you're on $140,000 a year. That's a genuinely strong wage, well above the national average of just over $100,000. It should feel like breathing room, except in 2026, the moment your income crosses $135,000, every extra dollar gets taxed at 37 cents in the dollar, climbing to 45 cents once you cross $190,000. And here's the sting. Unlike your wage, those thresholds don't move. They just sit there while the cost of living climbs around them every year. Economists call it bracket creep, and it's brutally effective precisely because nobody sends you a letter about it. There's no announcement, no vote. Every pay rise, every cost of living bump, every promotion you actually earned, a bigger slice of it disappears the moment it crosses that line. So your pay slip says you're doing better. Your bank account tells you something else entirely. You're running flat chat and somehow going nowhere. 3, the rubber band with no give left. Picture a rubber band pulled about as tight as it can go. From a distance, it looks impressive, taut, sleek, high-performing, holding everything together beautifully. But a fully stretched rubber band cannot take one more pull. There's zero slack in it. That's the financial position of a huge slice of the Australian middle class right now. The mortgage, the car repayment, the school shoes, the Bali flights already booked for July, the hot water system that's on its last legs. Every single dollar is spoken for before it even lands. It works, right up until the moment it doesn't, and it doesn't take a recession to snap it. It takes something small, your cracked windscreen, an emergency dentist bill, a hot water system that finally gives up in the middle of winter. One tiny pull on a band with nothing left to give, and the whole thing snaps. Quick one before we keep going. Drop a comment below and tell me, honestly, is it the mortgage or the car repayment stretching your budget the tightest right now? I read every single one, and I reckon the answers are going to surprise you. 4, the lifestyle debt treadmill. When the pay packet stops stretching to cover the lifestyle, most people don't scale the lifestyle back. They bridge the gap instead. They reach for afterpay or zip to cover the flights. They put the new lounge suite on 4 fortnightly payments because it's basically free money. The logic feels harmless. It's interest-free. I'll have it cleared before the next statement. And rates are bound to come down soon anyway, so worst case, I refinance. That's the refinancing treadmill. An entire lifestyle propped up on a bet that borrowing is about to get cheaper. But look at where we actually stand. The RBA cash rate is sitting at 4.35% after 3 separate hikes earlier this year. Nobody's confidently betting on cuts anymore. Some economists reckon rates hold well into 2027. The escalator everyone was counting on to carry them back down has stopped moving. The numbers back it up. Credit card debt across the country is sitting around $44 billion, with close to $20 billion of that actively racking up interest right now, today, as you're watching this. Personal insolvencies have climbed for 3 years running. And buy now, pay later debt now shows up in nearly half of every new insolvency case that lands on the desk of Australia's own insolvency regulator. Both numbers keep climbing month after month. 5. The golden tree. Now let me show you the real cost, not the number on the statement. The number you never see on any statement at all. Say you took that $1,200 a month, the novated lease gap, the BNPL repayments, the lifestyle bridging, and instead of spending it, you planted it, dropped it straight into a low-cost index fund and left it completely alone to grow, compounding at 7% a year, roughly the long-run average for a globally diversified share portfolio. That $1,200 a month doesn't just add up in a straight line. It grows a trunk, then branches on the branches. Over about 2 decades, that one redirected habit turns into more than $600,000. That's the golden tree. And here's the part that should stop you cold. The family in the financed SUV and the family quietly growing that tree can earn the exact same salary. They can live on the exact same street behind identical rendered facades. One is buying a car. The other is buying freedom. And spending that freedom away is as quiet and as simple as signing a lease agreement. 6. The moment on the bank statement. Most people never feel any of this as one big dramatic event. They feel it on an ordinary Tuesday the second the pay lands. You scroll through it and it's all there in black and white. The salary arrives up top, looking healthy, looking like proof you're doing fine. Then it drains. The mortgage, the car repayment, the BNPL installments, the direct debits, until what's left barely limps you to the next payday. And a quiet, uncomfortable thought surfaces. You're not actually the owner of this life. You're a high-income tenant in it. You earn a genuinely good wage, and you own almost none of it. 7. Why we stay in the cage. So why does anyone stay in that cage? Because of the most expensive habit the human brain has ever invented, comparison. Here's the cruel asymmetry underneath it. You experience your own life from the inside. The frozen tax bracket, the anxious scroll through the banking app, all the messy stuff nobody else sees. But you only ever see your neighbour's life from the outside, the finished driveway, the new plates on the car, the holiday photos from Bali. You're comparing your own raw footage to somebody else's highlight reel, and the highlight reel is financed. Burn this into memory. Real wealth is quiet. Genuine financial security almost never announces itself because the people who actually have it aren't spending it on signals. The middle class trap is loud on purpose because being seen is the entire point of the exercise. Every badge on the boot, every reno, every upgrade, shouting a status the balance sheet underneath simply can't back up. So let's redefine what winning actually looks like here. Because the old scoreboard is quietly bankrupting the very people who believe in it the hardest. Wealth was never the size of your driveway or the badge on your bonnet. Wealth is the gap between what you earn and what your ego demands you spend. A modest earner with a small ego and a growing golden tree is winning. A high earner with a loud lifestyle and zero slack left in the band is not, no matter how good that driveway looks from the street. True freedom was never loud. It's a life where your needs are small and your assets do the talking instead of your car. So next time you're driving past that glowing window in that shiny German SUV, don't ask yourself if they've made it. Ask the only question that actually matters. Behind that beautiful front door, is there any give left in the band at all? If this one hit home, smash that like button and make sure you're subscribed. There's a lot more where this came from. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.